Hey, how are you? Well, welcome back to Red Shoes Diary. Been a little while. Been busy. You know how it is. Weather's been a little on the cold side. Uh, we had a couple of good snows in the last few weeks. Definitely temperature dropped. It's picked up a little bit today. Sun's come out, so hope you're kicking high, or at least be able to throw your leg over, get on the floor, and be wandering around. It's been interesting few weeks, I guess. Should have been posting more, but I'd get things on my mind, and I'm like, okay, that's what that's what I need to do. Well, get home, I'd forget all about it. Apparently, this old timers just ain't no good, folks. I'm just telling you. But that's part of life, you know. As we get older, we age and get a little slower, do a little more goofy stuff, I guess. At least we realize it's goofy. What is I seen the other day said, uh, most times us old folks get hurt because we still think we're still young. Yeah, we definitely sometimes do stupid stuff, and I'll take the. I guess I'll plead the fifth on that. How about that? Anyway, I hope you've weathered the weather well, and I hope that you're doing good. You're fat and sassy, and I hope that when the weather came through recently, you was able to stay warm. We was blessed, didn't have no electricity go out. Everything run well. Had wood, had plenty of food. So, it's a few days there. I didn't get out of the house. Yeah, I don't got nothing I need to go do. I've got all the necessities. I'm good. Maybe just get a little lazy, my old age. I don't know. But I'm a person who dreams a lot, and I mean, I dream nightly. Lots of times I wake up, I remember a lot of them. Some of them I don't. That's always since I never remember since I was young. One of the earliest ones when I was young, dreaming that there's a Bigfoot lived over across in my buddy's house down there in his basement down there. I dreamt of that 2 or 3 times. I guess that's just wishing it would happen. I guess I don't know. But anyway, I dreamt the other night I was at around here we call them co-ops and stuff. Maybe been to a Tractor Supply or shoot, can't think of the other name. One of the other places, Rural King, and Farm Supply place. And I don't know, I was in there looking for something and started to leave. Something was said, and as I walked by the counter, went around, this young boy, he goes, well, I can fix that. Well, he grabs his Coke cup, plastic bottle, he's got a hole in it, he just sprays his Coke all over me now. I don't know what I said or done. And I'm like, yeah, hold him there, buddy. And I'm getting, wait a minute. Now, me and you going to have to talk. Well, he takes off around through there. Now, of course, I go looking after him. And, oh, they're like, what you going to do? I said, well, we're going to have to come to Jesus meeting. I want to know what's wrong with this boy. Well, then the guy gets up beside me. He said, you can't do that. I said, man, he's a mean feller. He a mean feller. I said, so that don't affect me now. I said, I ain't afraid of death, so I don't care how mean he is. I ain't afraid of dying. He goes, what do you mean by that? I said, well, I ain't afraid of dying. He goes, well, now, he's got gloves that's got diamonds on them. He said, he'll cut you to pieces. I said, well, let him have at it. Like I said, I ain't afraid of dying, but we're going to have us a talk. Well, needless to say, never did find him. Me and another fellows, next thing I know, we're on this wagon out in the hayfield, pasture field, whatever. we're we were going out there and something, he brought that up again. I said, well, like I said, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm saved. I said, I got saved by my mama's bedside when I was 12. He goes, well, I'm not saved. I said, you're not? He said, but I always wanted to be. I said, well, let's just stop right here. So we stopped in the middle of this field, climb off this wagon. I don't know, there's a few more showed up. We got to praying, got on our knees, went to praying. And if you ever been to old-fashioned Baptist preacher and listen to him, somehow that's how my my praying got loud like that. We got done praying for him. I said, you feel better? Oh, yeah, I feel a whole lot better. He said, I said, well, you need to get you a Bible and stuff and start reading it. Try to find you a church, something to help you stay in. He just looked at me and said, nah, I ain't got time for that. I said, do what? He said, I ain't got time to go to no church and none of that. I got other stuff to do. I sort of looked at him, well, that ain't sort of how it works. You still got to talk to the man, you still got to do a little bit of work, and I ain't got time. I got other stuff I got to do. And then I woke up. So I guess I sat up there on the edge of the bed. I raised up and sat there on the edge of the bed a few minutes, and I prayed to God to help me to understand it. I don't, see what, like I said, I'm never dreamt in that manner about praying and getting somebody with God. That was the reason it sort of hit me different. So I'm like, find the message in it, because I figure there's a message there. Is it the point of helping people? No matter where you're at. Like I said, we was out in the middle of a field, a hay field, whatever. To remember, wherever you at, good Lord's there we. Was it the point of, telling a man, giving your testimony, but being willing to do that, or praying with him, but after he got done, is it to remind him and to remind ourselves, maybe sometimes you've helped people get closer to God. Maybe you prayed for them, maybe they got saved, but afterwards, did we encourage them? Did you encourage them? Sometimes maybe that's where we falter at, or where we fail at, that we ain't encouraging like we should be. Sometimes I believe God puts people in our lives to encourage or to speak to, and sometimes whatever's going on in their lives, it offends us or bothers us such a way that maybe we don't talk to them like we should. Maybe we just write them off. Maybe that's part of what that was about. I don't know. I truly can't answer that. I figure, good Lord says I'll come to light one day, so. But anyway, that's my take on it. That maybe that's what it is. Maybe wherever you're at, don't matter where you're at, that you take time. If a person needs you to pray for them, you're willing to get down in the middle of the field, wherever you're at, and pray for them. And that we don't forget to encourage them afterwards, check in on them. Maybe that's what that's all about. Like I said, the last few weeks of stuff, I literally had things on my mind to post. When am I sitting in church? And it hit me. Well, we left there after church, went to eat and stuff. When I got home, I literally couldn't remember what that was about. What was so important at that time that it bypassed me then. I don't know, maybe I'm getting too old. Short-term memory's going enough that I need to start writing this stuff down. I'm going to put it in my phone so I remember, or take me like old folks did and put me a little pad and a pencil, stub pencil in my pocket and write it all down. I don't know, folks. But anyways, you see, it looks like it's warming up. We're doing a little better. Hopefully where you're at it is. And I think they're supposed to be up to 60s next week. I'm looking forward to it, but I got a feeling this is a little fake spring. I got a feeling sometime in March we'll get hit again. We got hit that time in 93, but the earliest one I know of, this for my time, was in 60. When my sister was born in March, only time my daddy ever put a set of chains on in his life. Take my mama, to the across the mountain to the hospital at the time for her to be born. And all those years, we up to the 80s, before we had 4-wheel drive pickup, he had old 2-wheel drive pickups, 3 on the tree, and old stake trucks, what they was, painted orange. And he'd just throw a little weight. We put wood across the back or cinder blocks across the back, and he'd put mud grip tires on, and off we go. Because it's 5 miles from our house to our farm, and we'd go around the long way going down, but when we come back, we'd come off, because a big long hill. His theory was he'd start off the hill, he could probably ride it out to the bottom, but if he started up the hill and went to slide backwards, well, there's some of them places down there you might land wasn't going in too well. But anyway, I guess I'll let you cipher on it yourselves. Hope you have a great week. I hope you ain't forgot to talk to the good Lord this week. Be thankful for it all. I know Valentine's Day here is around the corner, so if you're lucky enough to have a special one in your life, make sure you let them know it. I mean, might buy something simple as might take them out to eat. Or I seen one people was making fun of a fella. He'd stopped, got 2 or 3 roses at a grocery store, and got this little pizza and stuff brought in, and people sort of made fun of him, but that's what his wife wanted. That was the first time their Valentine's Day, that's what it was. And that was what she wanted, and that was their memory. That was something special to them. Sometimes it's the least things that are special to people. So hopefully, like I said, you'll remember all that. Always be kind to people, folks. That's what Jesus calls us to do. Love one another. And be good to people, please. Help them when you can. Pray for them when you can. And sometimes people get so ornery you can't talk to them. You can't help them. But good Lord's a great healer. You just pray for him. You'll get their attention. He'll work it out with them. I ain't doubt my mind. Anyway, as always, hope the good Lord takes a liking to you, not too soon. I hope to see you again next week, and maybe I can keep this, do a little better than I have been. Sort of let the good Lord down. That's my fault. But as always, y'all take care. Be careful out there. Austin.